After a mighty long break, okay, 2 weeks, 2 weeks feels like a long time in today's day and age of the internet, but we're back after a small break, and we're going to be running the next 7 races relatively quick fashion. There may be more than one race in a week's time, maybe not in anytime soon, but we are probably going to run 2 races within a couple days span. But I don't know about that yet. But anyways, welcome to the 23rd running of the VTuber Racing 2024 season. This week, we take ourselves back to America and into Chicagoland in Illinois. This track, a mile and a half, very tight racing, but also probably going to be the most spread out at the same time. It's going to be similar to what we saw at Charlotte just a couple of weeks back, where we're going to see a little bit of pack racing, but also a lot of pack racing. Cars being spread out by a multitude of seconds and a couple different packs, if you will. Now, we have a little bit of a new thing happening, which we will get into here momentarily. It does have something to do with the points. Real quick, before we get into the points though, because I almost forgot till just now, updated the next 4 races, so right on the screen right now is where we're heading in the next 4 races after today. We go to 2 road courses, 1 dirt track, and 1 mile-and-a-half track within the next couple of weeks. Next race will be at Watkins Glen, which is a road course. Then the week after that will be Nashville Superspeedway. Then after that, it'll be Springfield, which is another dirt track in Illinois. And then finally, for the next 4 races, it'll be the other road course of the season, Infineon. Which, if I remember correctly, yes, that is the last road course race of the season. Because the 3 races after that will all be mile-and-a-halves, except for Indianapolis, which is technically super speedway, because it's 2 miles. But after Infineon, that's our last of our road courses, and then we have a trio of ovals to end things off. So with that in mind, let's take a quick little gander at the at the point situation coming into today's race. The top, you'll notice the rankings. There is no changes inside the top 12. That is taking into account what has happened from 13th on back, which we'll get here in just a second. But this is how the top 12, this is how the top 11 on screen shake out to be in terms of the points. It is a 23-point difference between the top 2, so Bell in today's race could theoretically take the points lead back after being behind a full race and a half, almost 2 races, not too long ago. More than a race and a half back actually, is where we'll find 3rd place of William, 4th place of David, not too far behind them, and Iron Mouse rounds out the top 5 in the points. The top 5 are separated by 73 points, which is more than a race and a half, but the top 2 technically are in contention for the championship today, if the championship were to end today, but it doesn't. It'll be a few weeks. It'll be several weeks from now, but 23 points of a difference between the top 2. Now then, I'm going to scroll down here momentarily to 13th on back, 12th on back actually. I keep saying 13th because that's where a lot of changes start. Now, before this race, we did actually have a small, I say small, heat race for the drivers that were 100 points or more behind the championship leader. These are the results of that said race. I'm not going to show the whole results. I'm just going to show the top 8 because in the end, it really doesn't really matter what ends up happening in that race. This is where you'll see a lot of drivers that are struggling in the points having an opportunity to get bonus points for just an opportunity to have a much better finishing position in the standings. And that will also take place next week at Watkins Glen, so we'll repeat the same deal then. But that's how we shake up in terms of the points. And that's where you'll see a lot of action going on behind the top 12. You see Risu now sits 13th of the points after gaining 6 spots from that said heat race. A lot of drivers that did not run in that heat race did lose a lot of spots. The one that lost the most amount of spots because they didn't participate in the heat race was Bimbo, who lost 5 spots and now sits 21st. However, from 13th all the way down to that 21st place spot, that is about 20 points, a little less than that, 18 points in general. So a lot of positions could be changed here once we get past that 10th place mark in the championship points. But yeah, everybody with the exception of like several drivers that were 100 points or behind, they ended up having a shot to change that for the better. We look here, I'm trying to look here. So Kobo sits 11th, 107 back, and Fruit an extra 20 points behind. So it is going to be the same criteria for the heat race next week. Anybody 100 points or more behind the championship leader after today's race will get a shot to get a little oomph in their championship standing spot and lower the intervals between them and the championship leader with a small heat race over at Watkins Glen, but that won't be again till next week. Qualifying for today's race, we'll see. We'll do it F1 style. We go from the back to the front. I'll have it scrolling up here slowly but surely. Lots of drivers from the top 10 in the points. They're starting in the very back of the field, including William, who starts 36, Kelso, who starts 35th, and Soleil, 34th, respectively. We see Ukali at 33rd, Tyroki starting 32nd, Dreamer will start 31st, Lumen will start 30th, Kobo will start 29th, Sprite will start 28th, Watson, who won, I think, that heat race. No, sorry, that was Fillion that won that heat race. Never mind. But Watson still starts 27th. Gura starts 26th. Lumi starts 25th. Weebu starts 24th. Simu will start 23rd. Risu, who gained a lot of spots in that heat race, in the points at least, they'll start 22nd for the main race. 21st will go to Bao. David, another driver who is in the top 5 in points, actually, he'll start 20th. Fu 19th, DM 18th, Kason will start 17th. Our points leader coming into today's race will start in 16th. And then as we enter inside the top 15, this is where we'll see a lot of drivers who hasn't really had much success this season, with the exception of maybe a handful of drivers. That includes Hana Mizuki, who starts at 15th. Henya will start from the 14th spot. Bimble, who we just talked about in the points, who's struggling now, sitting 21st in the points. They're going to have to climb from deep in the points in order for them to get a solid finish. They'll start today's race in 13th. Then Fruit will start at 12th. Beefy will start at 11th, and we enter in the top 10. And we'll see a lot of drivers battling for the championship points, alongside some drivers that may or may not be looking for their first win this season. Iron Mouse starts 10th. Noriboshi will start 9th. D, who starts 8th. Lucky starts in 7th. Bell, second place in the points, only 20 points, like I said, behind the points leader. They'll start in 6th. So a much better starting spot for them than our points leader. Melody starts 5th. Fillion, who won the heat race, starts 4th. So Fillion's looking to sweep the 2 races here at Chicagoland. They'll start 4th. DJ Overdrive will start in 3rd. And in the front row for today's race will be Merriweather and Nana. So, with that out of the way, we'll end up in a situation to where we can get this race started here momentarily. Things are looking quite well for the number 69 team of Bell, as they've been having themselves quite the run the last couple of races to inch their way down to 20 points between them and the championship leader. But with that out of the way, let's quickly get things started by setting it down to Trek side, where we will get today's race underway. You see the field waiting to roll off. I'll turn off the background music here momentarily once it start rolling off. There goes the pace car. And we are set to go racing here at Chicagoland. So Chicagoland is a very bottom-heavy track. We will see a lot of action take place at the bottom of that said groove. Really solid camera in this one. All right, cool. 161 laps around this track here today. Not exactly 160 or 165. A lap more than 160. And I do apologize for my voice for today. I still kind of have a sore throat from getting the flu a couple weeks back. Only a handful, small handful, but a handful nonetheless of races left to go. Things are getting very desperate here for a lot of drivers inside the top 10 in points. Pace car is off, and we are set for racing here at Chicagoland. Green flags in the air. We see a lot of side-by-side action going into turn 1. It's going to be Nana who's going to get the advantage. And clears up from Merriweather going down the backstretch. A little bit of 3 wide behind. Bell in that 3 wide action. The bottom line with a good run to start. Going into turn 3. DJ Overdrive moves up to the 2nd spot. Merriweather falls to 3rd. It's going to be Nana that's going to lead lap number 1. Talladega winner way too long ago. They're looking to get another win here this week and try to make it a salvageable spot in the championship standings as we head into a mixed bag of tracks the next couple of weeks. Like I said, we have 2 road courses, 1 dirt track, and another 1.5-mile track similar to this one in Nashville Superspeedway. So far, Nana's led all the laps so far. And that's probably going to stay like that for a little while as the cars start to warm up. Get the tire pressures settled in. And Overdrive does, no pun intended, slightly go into the corner a little bit more than Nana did there, but did not make a move to the inside. And Merriweather's right to the back bumper as well. The top 3 are only separated by 1/10.5. They are that nose to tail together. Lucky settles out 4th place. A little bit of a gap till you get to Noriboshi, who settles 5th. Fillion settles at 6th. Fifi in 7th. A battle for the 8th spot. That's where we'll see the first side-by-side action between Bimble and Bell. Still a lot of side-by-side action when you get back to the end of that top 10. The back half of the top 10, at least. Got Merriweather trying to go for the 2nd spot. And actually, excuse me, and actually Overdrive's going to hang on to that outside line and actually help Lucky gain a spot or 2. Comes Noriboshi way down to the inside, sending it 3 wide on Merriweather and Lucky. This is for that 3rd place spot. And all this is going down while the top 2 have pulled away quite a bit. Noriboshi takes away the 3rd spot away from both Merriweather and Lucky. Fillion's now going to follow down in the bottom. And they're still tight 3 wide. And Fifi run on the inside, trying to push the 78. Merriweather gets a good run down the middle. They may clear from the 6, and they do, so that turns to side-by-side. Still 3 wide behind them, though. As battle for the lead, as Overdrive takes away the race lead. And Nana's actually going to fall the third, maybe, if Noriboshi can take care of it in 3 and 4 here. A little bit of checkup. DJ Overdrive takes the race lead away. Here on lap 7, Noriboshi takes away third. Or takes away second, I should say. That battle for fourth still heating up here between Fillion and Bimble, with Merriweather just a car length behind. And then Bell settled by themselves back in 7th. On the early goings, we've had our first lead change. As didn't take us so long, but took us long enough. Took us 7 laps. Gonna take us a couple more laps before we get another chance for a lead change. Noriboshi thought about it going into turn 1, but nothing there. Looks down low to the inside, go down to the backstretch, go into turn 3. A little bit of a checkup there by Overdrive. Now Noriboshi slips up a little bit, gets out of the throttle. They're going to stay side by side. But officially, Noriboshi's going to get the bonus point for leading a lap. But don't count out that 85 just yet. They're coming back down to the inside to try to take away the race lead and get back to it. Although they slipped up, and now Noriboshi has a chance to slip away, get a little bit of a gap to build here. When they battle side by side like this, Noriboshi is going to start pulling a gap here. In fact, from 0.05 of a second to 0.6 of a second. Noriboshi basically gained 0.6 of a second in that one lap because these two are running side by side. That has also allowed Bimble to come through the field, gain a little bit of a ground, and send it 3 wide for that second spot. Nobody's letting out. This track is wide enough for 3 wide, but if it gets aggressive, it's going to get nasty. The gap is now more than a second, and probably more than a second and a half. And now they start filing out. Back to single file. It's Bimble who takes second. Nana to third. DJ to fourth, but here comes Bell in 5th, down to the inside. Looking to take away that spot. Got Fu right behind them. But so far, it's Noriboshi who holds the fort down in front. Once they get single file, they do have an opportunity to track down that race leader. Bimble gained a little bit of time there. Not a whole lot, but enough to gain a little bit of time. There's still a lot of side-by-side action going on behind. The top 3 are single file. Bell up to 4th now. There's battle inside the top 10. A big battle inside the top 10. Rage on. 3 rows of 2 here. Goes all the way back to Simu in 11th, but then you also add in Henya and Fruit back to 12th. File through the field here. Starlight again, having some struggles early on in the race, sitting 32nd. But they've been having their struggles in the first half of races. It's how they finish, where they managed to do a little bit better, but the last few weeks have not been the greatest for them. Chicagoland is a 1.5 mile track, and that's where they have been pretty strong. So we'll see where area ends up at near the end of this race. The gap between the top 2 down to less than 0.2 of a second. 15 laps in the books here in this race. The things are just starting here. If there's ever gonna be a calm spot in this race, it's gonna be now because of how early it is. Keeping a close eye on this battle for the race lead. There goes Bimble down to the inside. And like I said, they lost a ton of spots because of the heat race that they were not involved in. They were right in that mix of drivers that were going to be involved in the heat race and drivers that were not. And because they were not involved in the heat race, they fell all the way to 21st in points. I say that as if it was a lot of spots. It was only 5 spots. They could easily gain all those positions back here with a solid finish here today. But they could not complete the pass. So Noriboshi did hang on that middle line and still hangs on to the lead. That has opened up the door for Nana to come back. Sits in 3rd. Then Bell's not too far behind in 4th. And Overdrive, who still sits 5th. So, you know, the top 5 are separated by a second and a half. And then you get a little bit more of a gap when you get back to Fu in 6th. About a 1/10 of a second once you get to what you can. About a 1/10 of a second between the top 2. Looking at the bigger picture here so far, there's not a lot of side-by-side action in the top 10. A lot of single file. And right now that could change once Bibble starts throwing it double file, which they're doing now. And this time, Bibble does complete the pass. He takes the race lead away. And Noriboshi can file back to the inside. They cannot. Here comes Nana back to the inside for that second spot, but let's see if Noriboshi can hang on to the middle, and she does. So Noriboshi loses first, but hangs on to second. The top 3 are all right on top of each other for the most part. Well, actually, top 4 when you think about it. Side-by-side action. You kind of get it back in 15th place between Hana Mizuki and Uebu, but now that battle concluded. You have to go all the way back to Fifi and Gura. That's 20th that they're battling for.